The legend of Rosemary Chibanda is one tale that has captivated many Zambians for a very long time. The first location where the reports of a female ghost named Rosemary Chibanda became common, according to the many versions of the tale, was Ndola. The popularity of the tale soared in the 1970s and 1980s, with the story beginning in the late 1960s. Like many myths, there are several versions to this one. Numerous rumors have been propagated about this ghost around the nation, and each individual based their account of events on what they have heard. According to the story, Rosemary worked as a prostitute in many Copper Belt communities, including Ndola, when she was alive. It is believed that she met a man while working as a prostitute, and this man became her lover. It was this man, her lover, that is believed to have brutally killed her, running her off the road with his truck. According to legend, Rosemary's soul was unable to rest after she passed. She started wandering the streets in search for her murderer. While on the hunt, Rosemary's ghost started to scare every male she came across on the route. The narrations of persons who claim to have come in contact with Rosemary Chibanda served as the basis for accounts of how she operated. Men who publicly acknowledged being Rosemary's victims shared their experience with her in their stories. There were rumors that a driver might come across a stunning young woman on the roadside waving for a ride. Men would halt and give her a ride after being mesmerized by her attractiveness. While in the car, she would begin to caress and kiss the man. And then all of a sudden, he would realize he had lost all his teeth and that the woman he had been kissing had just disappeared into thin air, leaving him traumatized. According to other stories, a man might find himself in the midst of a cemetery in the nude and with no evidence of the attractive woman anywhere nearby after having met her on the road. Numerous men also relate stories of how they would pass a woman on the road and in the next moment she would be seated in the passenger seat of the car without them having to open the door for her. One of the descriptions provided by a guy who claimed to have seen Rosemary Chibanda was that he was operating a corporate vehicle between Ndola and Kitwe when he observed a woman motioning for a ride. He had no desire to offer the lady a ride because he was driving a corporate vehicle. All of a sudden, he noticed a woman seated next to him in the vehicle. He was astonished by how she entered the vehicle without the door opening from the road. Even more shockingly, the car started to drive itself, turned and started traveling in the opposite direction of where he was originally going. Oh God. After some time of yelling in terror for the woman to stop driving the car in the wrong way, the car ultimately magically realigned and the woman mysteriously vanished. Traumatized by the experience, the man did not eat for 2 days after arriving at his destination, and it was only then that he was able to describe what he had seen. Many tales describe how a man would be driving down the road, then suddenly, a woman thought to be Rosemary Chibanda would flash across the driver's path, causing the driver to lose control of the vehicle and cause an accident. Some men describe instances in which they picked up a woman on the side of the road without realizing it was Rosemary Chibanda. The woman they picked up eventually began sucking their blood and leaving them comatose on the side of the road. No matter how attractive the lady was, hearing such tales traumatized men beyond belief. And for a long time, many men avoided picking up random females on the road. The legend of the ghost then traveled to several other regions of the nation, including Lusaka, the capital, where Rosemary's ghost quickly gained fame. Rumors that Rosemary Chibanda was actually murdering some men while looking for the person who had killed her started to appear in other various forms of narrative. As many people started to share their versions of the tale, they started to appear often in the media. Others started to describe how they had also met Rosemary Chibanda. The ladies said that whenever they encountered Rosemary, she would comfort them, that they wouldn't be hurt, they shouldn't be afraid of her, and that her only goal was to find the person who killed her. Government representatives assured the populace that there was no truth to this Rosemary story, and there was no reason for people to be alarmed as the word of the enigmatic ghost girl spread. These tales persisted in Zambian society for many years in spite of the repeated assurance offered to the populace that they were untrue. Some claim that women contributed to the myth spread in the effort to keep their husband in check and prevent them from picking up strange women on their roads. The tales were also thought to be a means to calm down young bachelors who may have started becoming overexcited and frequenting bars too often. In Lusaka, it was widely believed that Rosemary frequented bars and that males who attended these establishments were more likely to become her victims. Occasionally, individuals would tip off the police saying that Rosemary had been observed someplace. But every time the police showed up, they discovered that she had already disappeared. People realized there wasn't much truth to these rumors when these stories started to disappear over time. Others say that the disappearance of the stories was the consequence of the series of daily prayers offered at Rosemary's grave, which appeased the spirit and prevented it from bothering others. Depending on whatever version of the events corresponds to your worldview, the stories either ceased because people realized they were only rumors or because the ghost was appeased. The popularity of the tale has grown since then. Only a few older people still tell their young children the legend sometimes. Therefore, it is important to evaluate the entire tale of the ghost on the road in its legendary context rather than considering it to be true. Some sources say the whole story started from a drunken man in Dola. According to the reports, a drunken guy who was discovered dozed off next to a bar in Dola's graveyard invented the whole tale. After picking up a young lady from a bar, he over-intoxicated himself, which caused him to pass out. The young girl took the decision to break up with him. He then staggered into the cemetery on his way, and he spent the night there intoxicated. The man was sleeping there while the cemetery keeper arrived the following morning, much to his astonishment. The alcoholic presented the caretaker with a Rosemary story when asked about the events that led to his dozing off in the cemetery. From this tale, it was said the Rosemary story spread and others started adding their own details. It is critical to keep in mind, as with most myths, it may be challenging to identify the exact genesis of the tale. People only realize what they have heard, and as these stories are passed from one person to another, they are constantly twisted. Rosemary Chibanda's tale has been told in many ways to many Zambians. Please feel free to share your thoughts and experiences around the Rosemary Chibanda tale in the comments section.